Okay, Bucs fans, you asked for it, and I aim to deliver. And so, sorry it's coming out on a Wednesday, but I wanted to make sure that I got this video compilation of Baker Mayfield throws and moments from the Raiders game that I thought were really interesting. And a lot of people have noted that I've been critical of Baker at times this season, and I've written about a lot of the reasons why that those criticisms have existed. I genuinely believe we are watching a top-tier offense in terms of structure, design, play calling, answers against every type of look, balance, run and pass, RPOs, vertical, horizontal, screen game. We are just watching a master at work in Liam Cohen, and so when the offense bogs down, I think it's extra frustrating because it almost always can be traced back to the quarterback. And penalties have been an issue at times too. And not that everybody else is perfect, and you'll see that in some of these clips as well, but the quarterback unable to handle things for large stretches of the game, even when one little tiny thing might be off and you need him to make a play, I think that's been troubling. Then he also has the ability to make unbelievable plays, and we'll look at two of those at the end of the game, just when you thought all was lost. But I've got 10 throws from the portion of the game that show a little bit of concern with Mayfield in some aspect of his game, and I'll talk about what are bigger issues and what might be smaller issues. And then I've got two at the end of the game that show just what he is capable of and why his talent is so alluring, because he can make every throw and do everything you want the quarterback to do. It's just a matter of whether he will do it consistently or not. And that's what makes him frustrating, I think, to watch at times. So I'm going to run through this. This first throw is from the first quarter. You'll see his first read here, sort of. There we go. See his first read as he drops back. Really clean pocket right away. He's looking, and you can see sort of eyes are checking out this situation right here. Raiders look like they're in cover 4, and Evans is going to be open right here on this inbreaker. And Otton is extending here, so this defender is going to be moved, and you're going to throw with anticipation to this spot of the field. Clean pocket. He's looking right at him. Evans is right there. You got to throw that football, and he comes off of it. And so it's just, dang, like that's the throw you needed here. And this safety's doing a good job. Like people are going to maybe point that out. Like Morg's, this is Trevon Morg. His anticipation is right. He's going to be in position to make this tackle after the catch, but there's absolutely no chance he makes a play on this ball. I mean, if you throw this ball here on time, this is wide open in the NFL. So you got to make that throw. You can't come off it. And Baker doesn't even see him either, by the way. So it's not like that's part of his consideration. So good job to anticipate, and he'll be in position to limit yards after catch. But this is going to be a first down, and more than likely an easy completion. Comes off of it. There's nothing here. Shepard's locked up. Defender over the top, and then this is a really hard throw in the corner. He's open. And I mean, this is NFL open, but this is a really difficult throw. And so he throws it. It's late. And even though I think McMillan makes a great compete for the ball, he runs out of real estate. There's just nowhere for him to be able to make this catch. And so I think that's, I mean, bottom line, you just cannot turn down throws that are wide open in the NFL. And this is just wide open from a clean pocket, and he just turns it down to the best player on the team. So those kinds of ones hurt. You have to be able to throw those. You have to stay on time. This helps you stay on schedules and offense. It keeps you out of bad down and distances. I think they were in 2nd and 11 here maybe. 2nd and 11. And so, I mean, that's probably a first down. Now you put yourself in 3rd and long, and you just made a way more difficult throw for no reason. And so those are concerning ones, right? Clean pocket situation. That should never happen. Here we go. We got this one is early second quarter, panicking in a clean pocket, and there's some throws to be made here. So the one I think that makes the least sense, Baker has said this, Josh Capo did a good job of bringing this up on the recent Bucs Edition podcast, and he's talked about how he comes off of reads too quickly, and you're going to see that in this situation with Palmer. He needs to hang in here and read this out a little bit more, because pre-snap, the Raiders are playing off, and you're not anticipating necessarily that it's going to be man coverage. You see them rotating single high, and you're not necessarily anticipating that it's going to be man coverage, and he wants this out and up to Trey Palmer from the reduced split. They're trying to work the sideline and see if they can widen this safety out. So you're thinking zone coverage from the alignment, and then I think he looks here, and this is what he wants. He wants to work this side of the field. he just comes off it too quickly. I mean, the corner here is trying to widen Palmer out from this, but Palmer's fine with that. He's trying to get outside the corner anyway. So the corner's trying to disrupt this release to the sideline. He would like to keep Palmer inside of him, but Palmer's able to get outside, which is what they want. So I don't know if Baker thought he saw like a man turn here from the corner and came off of it because he thought it'd be man coverage in the corner just to be carrying him down the sideline. But you got to read this out. I mean, look how quickly he bounces to the other side of the field. If you want to start over here, which I think he should, the safety is not going to make this play if you're able to make this. Look at all this grass you have to throw this ball into Palmer. And Palmer gets clean down the sideline. He's got the mailbox up. The corner's dropping with him. But, I mean, you got to make this throw over the top of the defense in this situation. Not to compound the issue, I think Baker also senses pressure where there isn't one, and this is where I get to a big point with him, is him feeling pressure before it actually happens and panicking a bit. And you can tell everything about this is just too sped up. He comes off the read too quickly. He bounced this side of the field. Crosby's flashing here as Bredesen kind of failed to pick up this twist, but Wirfs is saving the day. You're good. You're solid. Like, you can just stay in the pocket and make one of these plays. And yeah, this is going to be an anticipation throw to Evans that it doesn't appear he's ready to make, but you just have to go somewhere with the football. You can't panic and in this situation. And he comes off a read here too early. He's looking and he could go here, but then he drops his eyes. Instead of being able to throw this ball with anticipation, he is looking at Crosby and he's thinking, like, I got to get out of the pocket. They end up picking this up. I sort of understand what he's thinking there, but again, just play on time. Just make the first throw here to Palmer and live with the consequences. Maybe it's incomplete because anytime you throw a vertical ball, you're wondering that. But this is a situation where you just have to throw the football and you have to throw the first read and you can't come off it too quickly. And so I think his criticism of himself is a valid one, that he comes off reads too quickly and plays too fast and too sped up, because he has a big play here and this safety's not going to make this play. He may make the tackle after the catch, but he's not making a play on the ball from there. And so you have to be able to basically hang in and make that throw. If he stays in the pocket here, he's absolutely fine. I mean, he'd have all day, is the irony. Spillane does a pretty good job here for the Raiders of walling Otten and then finding the dig, which I think is actually good work by him. I still think you fit this throw in with anticipation, even though Spillane's going to make the tackle. But I understand why Baker was like, I don't know if I like that. But again, just throw the first read. And so that's what it keeps coming back to, I think, more than anything. He ends up scrambling and gets a decent gain out of it. But again, it's process we're looking at here more than anything. Okay, this is maybe the next play or two plays later. Raiders on a zero blitz. This happens a couple times in the game. Raiders blitz them quite a bit. First thing you're going to notice is this is what we call creeper pressure. So Trevon Moehrig is a late add to the box for the Raiders, and Baker needs to account for that basically in the protection. This guy does a great job of not showing. And I think this surprises White too, but White is off this guy right here. The Bucs are, as you see, sliding the protection. So if these four come, these four, 1, 2, 3, 4, have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then White would have him. Gedeke is sliding here, and then if the safety comes as well, which he's creeping pre-snap, Baker has to account for him. So that they have it all blocked up. It's just a matter of when a zero blitz situation against a six-man protection, the quarterback is going to account for somebody. Now, I don't know what Rachaad White necessarily is thinking here. I'm guessing he is this guy, but perhaps there was a situation. I mean, he should have just stuck with the player. He's thinking, I think, most dangerous man, and this guy's technically closer. But again, it doesn't really matter. Rachaad White tries to block both of them essentially and doesn't get either of them. And so he tries to get a piece of Moehrig and does push him wide. But either way, Baker's needs to just throw hot. Like, as soon as he sees this guy coming, he just needs to throw hot. And he is, again, sort of all over the place with where he's looking. He's trying to look at the safety. He's going to have that option because it's a zero blitz, and so the safety's coming down here. But he just needs to throw hot. If he's looking and seeing things pre-snap, he's keying on this player. If he comes, then I'm going to throw hot. And by the way, his hot is right here, and Cade Otton's wide open, and you just have to get the ball right here. So he's just trying to make a play that isn't there and not throw hot in the situation. But these are the things you want to ID pre-snap. Okay, creeper coming, and you'll see this show up later. Actually, Cody Mauch helps him out with one of these. But yeah, you just want he's getting late, and it's a good job by the Raiders. It's late in the snap count, but you want to be able to identify that. And I don't think it's hard to tell from here, but I don't think Baker's even looking at him or seeing it. So he gets surprised by the blitz. He doesn't hit the hot. And he ends up sacked, fumbled, which is another big issue. Like Baker could just throw this ball right either way and take a hit. He tries to break tackles, spin move, and he's done it before, so I understand it. But it's just a dangerous way to live, and that's why you have to play on time and you have to play fast in the NFL. Back foot has the hit. You recognize pressure. You get the ball out to your hot, and the Bucs live to fight another day, or probably get the first down. Honestly, if he's able to do that, because it's 3rd and short. And so him not recognizing that played a part in this. White's got to, probably pick up one of these guys too. And he tries, but tough situation for him. And, I think certainly Baker, not the only player to blame on this play, but I definitely think that, this is one where you have to play on time. You have to hit your hot, and then the drive can continue. But you can't try to be a hero in these plays. And then the sack fumble, that's even worse. Even if you're going to take the sack, go down or whatever, or just throw the ball away, but you can't tuck the ball and then lose it in that situation, obviously, on your side of the field. So that's a brutal one. Okay, we got next drive. This is a compounding issue. This issue showed up a lot now, is the inability to manage the pocket in terms of space and footwork well as the quarterback position. That is such an important part of playing quarterback in the NFL. You don't have to be an unbelievable athlete to be able to do this. You do have to be able to move, slide, and throw in the pocket, because you are hardly ever dealing with clean pockets. Now, Baker probably has the most clean pockets of any quarterback in the league this season. Now, Bo Nix is up there as well, but those guys have been like amongst the best protected quarterbacks, and so he does get a lot of clean pockets, which is pretty critical for his style of play, I think, because it's totally boom or bust. If it isn't a clean pocket with him, you really have no idea what to expect on a daily basis. And so he is used to a lot of those clean pockets, but you have to be able to deal with this type of a muddy pocket, which is just one guy slowly losing, still between you and the blocker. These are the situations which you slide, help that blocker out on his angle, and then throw the football. And, not to compare Baker to Brady, because Brady was the best at this, but I'm just using Brady as an example because Bucs fans know this is where Brady was the best of all time more than anything, and was this in getting to check downs quickly, recognizing, we're getting beat up front, or we have nothing available on the back end against this look. I'm getting to the check down while the check down still has space to be able to catch and run with the football. And those two things eluded Baker a lot in this game. So just having to be aware of the situation, I think, more than anything is the key. So if you watch him on this play, I'll let it run. Motion, it's probably going to be zone. Right now, you see Bredesen sort of losing right at this point. Like, he's getting bull rushed at least, but he's still between him and the blocker. Like, he can still win this rep or do well enough on this rep to survive the play. Defenders dropping out, right? You've got cover two deep, and these corners are here, and you've got the middle dropper right here, so you know where you're going to have your middle linebacker is going to be at depth. You have two options basically on this play, I think. You can, if you'd like. I think he really has one option. Honestly, when you consider the pressure, he's not going to get back here to Otten. So in this situation, as Bredesen is getting knocked back into Baker, you're just going to your check down here, right here. And Baker sees it. He pumps the ball. He doesn't throw it. And keep in mind, in this situation, this is in the second quarter, 9:41 left. This is 1st and 10 in this situation. So, yeah, he gets tackled for a 3-yard gain. Totally fine. He breaks a tackle. He gets 4 or 5 yards. Great. We're in a very manageable. That's success rate we've hit. He can easily get 4 yards on this play, and we're in a fine second down situation. 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6. We can live with that. We can't do this. Tuck the ball down, try to do something crazy, and get sacked. So again, this isn't going to be a perfect play. Bredesen is sort of losing on this rep, and it isn't an ideal play, but it's just your left guard. Everybody else is solid. You have your check down wide open against the look that you want, frankly, with the middle linebacker dropping out. You see it, but you pump to it. Don't throw it. There's no downside to throwing this ball. You are not going to get picked off, nothing. You just have to be able to throw the football and play with anticipation and say, okay, he recognizes right here, I'm in a bad spot. He hasn't moved in the pocket either, by the way. Like, being this much of a statue in these situations is not ideal. And so, yeah, okay, that has to happen. You have to give yourself some space maybe if you want to make a different throw, or just in this situation, because you have the check down, just get the ball out. Just get the ball out and you play another down. Instead, you turn it into a disaster play, and the drive's basically over at this point. And so you basically ended the drive on first down. You just can't do that as a quarterback. Again, you can take little wins or neutral plays, but you can't turn those situations into disaster situations. The play to Otton where it's a zero blitz. Okay, let's say you miss the throw. I know he's wide open there, but let's say you get hit as you throw and it's incomplete for whatever reason. Or that safety wasn't buzzing down very fast, but I don't think he would have even made the tackle short of the sticks. But let's say, you get a bad result on the play somehow. Okay, it's incomplete. But you followed the right process and you didn't turn a situation into a complete disaster either. So that's the things you have to be able to manage from the quarterback position when everything doesn't go 100% perfect, but only one little thing is off. Could you have planned for that thing pre-snap? And then could you have reacted to it better post-snap? This is another prime example of this. This is the next play after what he just did. So this drive is probably over. You're in 2nd and 20-something. You can't take a safety and you can't lose more field position. You just have to be able to manage the game in these situations. Bredesen falls on this play. It wasn't a great series for him. He was okay in the game overall, but this series was tough. He kind of falls on this play, picking up this twist, and Crosby is going to eventually come free. But again, the Raiders are dropping out here. You have your check down, and you just have to hit it. Throws late, and it's a collision catch instead of wide open, which it was before. So Raiders are dropping out here, right? They're not trying to give this 2nd and 23. So down in distance, you're very unlikely to get anything down the field. Now, he's got a clean pocket for a while here. This sort of happens slowly. So he could, with this guy dropping out, you could throw to Evans on the inbreaker here and it would maybe be a catch on collision, but I'd love this throw. I mean, I'd be totally fine with that. Baker has plenty of arm. He's looking right at it. He could throw this with anticipation and get this ball in here. This is probably where he wants to go with the football first. But if he doesn't want to throw this because he's afraid this is Spillane. I don't think you're afraid he's going to make a play on the ball necessarily, but it's going to be a catch on collision for Evans. If you don't want to throw it and you're uncomfortable with it, look, the pump, and this was all game. Pump, should I? Okay, you have a free rusher right here and you're in your own end zone and it's 2nd and 23. Like, you're not getting anything positive out of this play by trying to Houdini this rusher and get out of here. And he does break the tackle, and you give him credit for that because this is a safety, and this would have been even more of a disaster play. But the process is just awful. I mean, Crosby has to make that play. And I think he thought he was going to throw the football and not try and do this, and so he jumped to try and bat the ball, and he ended up missing the tackle. But yeah, look, if you play on time and you're not going here, you're getting the ball here, catch and run opportunities out here. I mean, you're going to get tackled. It's not like, this is the original line of scrimmage. You're not necessarily getting the first down on this play, but you're putting yourself in a 3rd and not as disastrous. And really, more than anything, you're not taking a safety and you're not sacrificing field position. So these are the play. You just can't manage the game like this in these situations. Okay, this happens. The Raiders do a good job on the twist. They knock Bredesen down. Crosby gets in free, but it's slow developing. This doesn't happen right away. And you have the opportunity to come right out here, hit your check down on time, catch and run situation, or go here to the middle of the field if you want to throw with anticipation and play that way. But you can't just stand double clutching the ball in your own end zone and then try to duck out of a sure sack and safety to make a play to this. And he does get out of this, as I said, that is the element of it. But, he's throwing late to a check down and then the guy's getting hit as he so even if he catches, a 2-yard gain, 3-yard gain, and he's getting probably 10 if you hit him on time. And so everything has its advantage. You have to know the down and distance. Okay, what are the Raiders going to be doing? They're trying to take away the 6. They don't want to give up a chunk play. I know my check down is going to be. So you're thinking pre-snap even, this is a look. And then as soon as your guys start to lose and you're in your own end zone about to get hit for a safety, you know exactly. You have to go to the ball here. You have to get the ball out. You have to get out of your own end zone. You have to improve the punt situation. It's all just managing the game. And he just does a really poor job of it. So next play is, I think, the next drive. Is it the next drive? I think it's the next drive. Yeah, it is. It's their next drive, which happens end of the first half. 2-minute drill. This is the one where he gets sacked and Sean Tucker has the blitz pickup. That's definitely not perfect. But again, how do you manage when situations aren't perfect? Sean Tucker does actually a decent job of recovering here. the blitzer has an inside move, as you'll see, and Tucker does a decent job of recovering, but Baker makes not ideal situation way worse by his spacing and his double clutching and his drifting in the pocket. Watch him drift right into the path of the rusher and then get himself sacked. So this is not a perfect blitz pickup by Sean Tucker. As you can see, he gets out here. He actually squares up pretty well, but the rusher tries an inside move, which you're not always going to see with the DB. And I think Tucker is just expecting Baker not to be drifting up like this in the pocket. So he's hoping I can be able to stay outside this guy and Baker can stay at his depth in the pocket. And so there's a little miscommunication there. Tucker does a good job actually recovering, and he's staying on this block. I mean, he's back solid here. But because Baker drifted right into the defender with this feet in the pocket. Now, Baker is trying to throw one of these three-man concepts out here. This is sort of like a sail concept. I forget the exact name for it, but you basically are getting to it a little bit differently than you normally get to sail. But you're basically have a vertical corner and then somebody that has flat control here. And the Raiders honestly have a great coverage for it. They're in cover 2 and the corner's sinking, and you've got the linebacker picking up here. And so you really don't have anything that's great on this play. If you slide in the pocket, you're actually probably going to have a totally clean pocket if you're able to stay out here somewhere where he originally is. But he is sort of edging up trying to make this throw, and I'm not sure what he thinks he sees here that he would want to throw. I mean, this is off, like with the corner's eyes here and dropping. You can't throw that. You can't really throw the vertical with the safety over the top and the linebacker getting depth. This is shut down, so you just need to be able to work the other side of the field. So why he's hopping up to throw this direction, I mean, what he should be doing, and again, this isn't the easiest. I know it's a full field read here in these situations, and you'll see how the Bucs tried to take some of this off the table for him later as the game goes on. I understand why he wants to start here, but you have to pretty quickly recognize, all right, this isn't going to be open, and you can see it almost here. Look at the safety moving off the hash here. So the vertical is going to be a non-option at that point. And so you kind of be able to read those things out, and then can you get to this backside dig? I mean, you'd like to be able to get there, obviously, as a quarterback. And he would get there if he had managed the pocket better, because this is a perfectly clean pocket, and Tucker had recovered enough to run the player inside. Like, this guy wasn't going to be able to make that play, not in the timely fashion. So you can get to these backside digs and these advanced progressions if you're able to manage the pocket better and manage your space better, but because he managed it so poorly, he turned, again, maybe this is just an incompletion or a throwaway if he doesn't get to the backside dig in time, but he turned this play into a disaster play because he just didn't manage it well enough. So it shouldn't be a sack. It might not be the most ideal situation a quarterback's ever worked in, but it shouldn't turn into a sack, and that's where it gets, again, okay, maybe this is an incompletion. Raiders cover the concept side pretty well. Okay, you live to fight another down. It's 2nd and 11. It's not ideal, but you can't take a sack and just absolutely kill the drive and kill field position and, again, risk another fumble. And he takes a sack that he shouldn't because he managed space in the pocket poorly. All right, this is, and I know this seems pretty negative, but we're just trying to point out the issues in the process, and then we'll get to some of the positives later in this segment. So this is probably the worst play in the game. I mean, the first one was a bad turn down, but I mean, it depends. This is probably the most disastrous play in the game by Baker. Cody Mauch is going to lose pretty slowly here and get walked back. If the quarterback manages the pocket well, I'm not sure it's even a loss necessarily. Like, this happens every game where a guy gets walked back, somebody gets under his pads, and you just kind of got to lose slowly and you stay between them and the quarterback, and the quarterback's got to play on time. But right away, you're thinking pre-snap. This is a 4 verts for the Bucs versus cover 3. So 4 verts versus cover 3. Where are the areas going to be that you want to attack? You want to attack the seams. The safety can only take one seam, right? So if they aren't going to carry vertically, or they're not going to carry vertically well enough for the Raiders, as you'll see in this situation with the nickel, who's got to carry number 2 here, if he goes vertical, then you're going to have an issue down the seam. So 4 verts versus cover 3, good call across the board. You know your outside receivers, they're both going to try double moves or are somewhat likely to be capped because of the corners playing in the cover 3 drop. It looks like cover 3 pre-snap. You got to confirm it, obviously, post-snap. You've got safety in the middle of the field, and understand why he starts to this side, because he sees the safety is on this hash. But the idea is you want to move the safety and throw the seam the opposite of what the safety does. So he's moving the safety with his eyes, right? This is a plenty clean pocket. Again, Mauch is here, but this is not like a immediate win or anything like that. And you're going to see him want to throw, it looks like this one to Evans, but again, the safety or the corner's capping it, so you're not going to have that open, obviously, at this point. He tries to, and Otten runs a double move here but he's not really reading the safety, which is what he needs to be doing. You want to move the safety, and he pumps here, which is great. Then just throw this touchdown to Jalen McMillan, because this is a great route. I'll play it full speed so y'all can see it. This is a really good route by Jalen McMillan. Watch him win inside leverage, touchdown, right? But instead, he throws this just airmail pass. And after he completely takes himself out, moving up into the pocket into Cody Mauch's back, all he has to do is slide one step to the left and throw this ball to McMillan. Instead, he turns it into like a complete disaster play. He almost injures himself. He throws the ball way over Otton's head, and Otton maybe could have kept running here, but either way, this is just a terrible throw. Even if somehow Otton had kept running in this situation, where I think Otton was looking for the ball back shoulder is what I'm guessing, with the safety capping him. Even if he keeps running here, this is like a jump ball type of situation. Either way, it's a bad decision. Maybe it doesn't look like as easy of an interception, but either way, it's just not a good decision at all. Not a good throw. And again, he has a touchdown right here, and he just doesn't manage the pocket well. I mean, this is a loss by Mauch, sure, but like this is not like a super fast loss or anything like that. I mean, this is a long throw. They're a long time to hang in the pocket, and he just makes it way worse by moving up in the pocket. This pump and then slide, boom, right? And he takes himself out. I mean, look at him. He's like, he almost injures himself. So this was when you just were like, okay, he might just be like totally out for this game, like just mentally. Like, I don't know if he's going to be able to bounce back from this because you miss a touchdown and you throw an interception and you almost injure yourself. It's just kind of a disaster scenario. But again, 4 verts versus cover 3, you're trying to move the middle of the field defender, and he does that, but he doesn't come back to the other side. I don't think he even looks at the safety. I think he does it without even trying to do it. He's staring down one side of the field, so the safety moves. That's great if he could just get to the other side of the field, which he could have with one small slide and a throw. And that's just, again, how do you respond? Are you moving through progressions the way that you should as a quarterback? Are you reading the defenders that you should? Or are you just trying to force something to happen? I think that's where Baker can run into trouble at times. Okay, I wanted to let that one run so you guys could see it, but basically, this one is the first drive of the third quarter, I believe, from them, which didn't happen until like the Raiders controlled the ball for like the first 11 minutes of the third quarter. So this is one where you have to throw the football, and the anticipation throws. Now you're going to see him do this well at the end of the game, and it's a massive difference. The anticipation throws are critical at the quarterback position. Raiders playing off coverage again. You are trying to get Mike Evans on this quick out from a reduced split boundary side of the field. So the throw's got to be really on time. You're not going to have a lot of space to work with on this one because he's going to run out of real estate over here on an outbreaker to the boundary side. So the ball has to be thrown with anticipation, and later Baker does that. And it's not thrown at all instead, even though the throw is there. The corner's capping it, but as soon as you see the corner dropping, you know Evans is going to run that guy off. It's going to be right out here for him on anticipation, with an anticipation throw as he comes out of his break. You got to be able to throw it, okay? Now, Baker turns it down. Okay, he turns it down. We've established that we don't like that. Maybe this is contact at the catch point, but you're not getting this route jumped, with this corner in the pedal. And you throw this ball to Mike Evans literally all the time. Later in the game, he throws it to Mike Evans. He doesn't make a good throw, but he actually throws the ball when he should, and we'll get to that. Mayfield comes back to this side of the field. You've got McMillan on an inbreaker. Again, it's cover 3, so it's going to be open. It's open. You do have pressure flashing a bit here, but again, you hang in the pocket and you make this throw. If you're going to turn down Evans, you got to be able to make this throw. If you don't like any of that, and you're just, for whatever reason, you don't want to get hit in the ribs, he's already shying away from this one. You don't want to hit in the ribs while you make this throw over the middle of the field. Just come off Evans and throw the swing. I mean, you have the one-on-one here. Otton is blocking. Like, this is a built-in option for you. It's kind of like a souped-up check down, right? If you don't like this option, you can always swing it out here to Rashad. You've got Cade Otton as the lead blocker. What's this situation? I'm trying to remember the down and distance on this situation. I'm trying to see the marker. Yeah, 1st and 10 in this situation. So you just can't take a disaster play. You can't burn the down. You can get something out of this play. Maybe Otton makes this block. This guy's going to eventually probably get in the picture here, but White is one of the absolute best at making the first guy miss, and he has a blocker here. So this could be a big gain, potentially. I'm fine with that option. You just can't do this. You can't do this. You can't panic and just waste the down. Now, he threw it away, which is way better than taking a sack. I wish he had thrown it away at other points in the game. So this isn't the most disastrous play. but there are options on the play. You just have to play within the structure. And again, maybe it's too quick, but why does he come off Evans here? I mean, he knows the outbreaker is going to be here. He sees the corner in a pedal and he can throw it and he comes off it. Okay, are you going to make this throw then with anticipation? Just throw it. You know where he's going to be. There's nobody in this space. You can throw that ball and he doesn't throw it. And then he doesn't throw the swing. So he has 3 options in this play that end up being open. He doesn't throw any of them. He burns the down, which is better than taking a massive loss on the down. But it's one of those things that's like, we got to be way better in those situations at managing things. You just can't, you have to throw the football. That's the biggest thing I might know. Like, you must throw the ball like on time. And maybe it's a catch on collision for Evans and, he drops it, or maybe the guy makes a great play, like, hits him as he catches it and forces an incompletion that way. Okay. You can live with those types of results, but you can't kill the down by not following good process. You got to give players a chance to make plays. Okay, here's end of the third quarter. I think this might be the last play of the third quarter, or one of the last plays. Oh no, I'm sorry. Skip that play. I didn't end up putting that. This is the first play of the fourth quarter. Excuse me. This is really a similar concept, right? Mike Evans is here, reduced split. They're to the boundary, and Evans is running another outbreaker against off coverage. And this one's a little bit deeper, runs it. Again, basically the same exact space that we talked about before. Baker throws. I mean, maybe a little bit late. I think it's fine, though. He's throwing before Evans is out of his break. He just airmails the throw. That's all there is to this one. Like, this is way better process, though. And the Bucs, again, tried to get him in play action. Okay, how can we go play action, get him cleaner pockets? Now, they did the same one, but they're doing max protect. He's been skittish all day. Even if they come, we're going max protect, 2-man route concept. Again, you've got McMillan on the dig backside. Very, very similar play to the one we just saw. And he follows better process this time, but just misses the throw. So not a whole lot to analyze from this one. I just want to include it in there because it was showing, I think, how things are affecting him. I mean, totally clean pocket, and he just airmails the throw, and he would have had it first down, and they end up punting, I think, on this possession. But that wasn't totally his fault. But so that shows just the accuracy also waned at times, but not his biggest issue from this game. Biggest issue was managing the pocket. This one I'm going to show from behind the line of scrimmage. And Baker is going to have, again, minimal pressure. Barton does a pretty good job, even though he loses initially, walling off and winning against Sebastian Joseph Day right here. Or not winning, but holding his own in this situation. Baker just move in the pocket a tiny bit, and you can hit this throw to Shepard. And Shepard runs a great route, gets open in the middle of the field. This is 3rd and 8, I think, something like that. You have to be able to make this throw in the NFL. You have to be able to manage a muddy pocket like this in the NFL. So Barton losing initially, great job battling back and being able to hold his own on the rep, and Baker just skips the throw in. Now, again, Baker, slide a little bit to your right if you're worried about it, or just be able to make this throw, and he kind of falls off. See how he doesn't get his hips all the way through the throw, and Joseph Day kind of hits his shoulder maybe, or just waves an arm in front of his face, hard to tell. But this is one where you got to give yourself, you can't be such a statue. You see this rep losing, right? Can we get out of there a little bit more, and can we make this throw? And he just gets to it a little bit late. Again, not the most ideal situation, I think, but this is wide open, and you'd love to be able to hit that one and convert and keep the drive moving. Again, not the easiest situation. This is definitely not the worst of the throws we've looked at today, or the situations, because I understand he is trying to manage the pocket a little bit here, but can we manage it a little bit better, and can we get to that a little bit faster, and we'll be able to make that throw. Easier said than done, I understand, but those are the ones you'd like to see the quarterback make you right on in those situations. Great route by Shep. He was unbelievable in this game. Okay, time for some positives. After all those plays, he comes back with legitimately 2 of the best throws of his entire season on the next drive. This throw to McMillan was dropped on 2nd and 9, and it is one of the better throws that he's made this season, I think. And I'll let it run full speed, and then I'll show it to you and show you sort of what the process is here on this play. So you're going to see they motion Rachaad White out of the backfield. They're thinking man coverage anyway because of the rolled up corner here probably. Or perhaps the Raiders probably want him to think cover 3 in this situation. But the rolled up corner, so you've got maybe an indication there. We'll see. Now we're going to send White in motion. Okay, the linebacker's chasing. We know we've got a man coverage situation. That's ideal in this spot because you want to get him out of the middle of the field. That's kind of the idea of the motion here. You also have thrown this before to the swing route, and the Raiders were kind of keying on this all game, and you can see it takes all three of these players. Now he's locked up on Payne Durham, so Durham releasing here. Again, you're just controlling who are the middle of the field defenders potentially in this play. Boom and boom. Can we get them out of the middle of the field, and can we throw in the middle of the field? Again, concept by Liam Cohen, absolute mint. And you're seeing with this motion into the swing, Durham releasing like he's going to block out here. All three of these defenders are keying. They're just doing their jobs, but they're out of the middle of the field. And you've got a 1v1 here with McMillan, who runs a great route, creates great separation as he did throughout the game. Great stop and come back to the football, and it's just too fast because watch where Baker's throwing the football. Watch where he starts throwing the football. Look, McMillan's not even turned yet. Unbelievable anticipation throw at the sticks in 2nd and long. Playing on time, playing fast. Again, this pocket is not that different from some of his other pockets. Like, these guys are kind of bearing down. They're handling this twist, and it's, kind of a condensed space. You don't have much space here as you throw. Like, this is just the NFL. Like, this is just how it rolls. Like, this is how the throws you got to make. And he makes it beautifully on this play. McMillan's got to catch that, obviously. But great concept by Cohen to open up the middle of the field for that throw. These in-breakers were there all game long. It was just a matter of whether he play on time enough to hit him or not at the end of the game. He did. Also, just want you to check out full speed, this route by Cade Otton against press coverage. Watch the hand usage there. I'm going to show you. Watch here as the jam. Look at the left hand push down on his arm, and then watch the snap to create separation. So, I don't know if he scores a touchdown, but it's just a great route by Cade Otton clearing out. I mean, he could definitely hit on too if he wanted to, but he's right. This is the first read in the progression. You're absolutely going to McMillan, throwing the anticipation at the sticks. That should definitely be a first down. Awesome, awesome play by Baker. Here we go. Very next play, right? 3rd and 9. Nothing's going right. You finally make a good play and your receiver drops it. Demoralizing situation. First thing we got to point out is Cody Mauch, our boy. He's calling out the creeper pressure, right? Here's Marg again, just like on that 3rd down earlier in the game, right? The Raiders might do it again. He's saying, hey, Baker, you're hot off this fella if he comes. You've got to be able to throw off this guy if he comes. He's telling Baker right now. See him? So the Bucs offensive line has basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here if they come. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or 6 would be White, actually. So White's here on the linebacker. Gedicke's here. And these other 4, Mauch, Barton, Bredesen, Wirfs, have 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll see it plays out that way post-snap. He drops, so Mauch's uncovered. Barton and Bredesen are picking up this tackle-tackle twist between the two interior players. Pick it up wonderfully. Wirfs as the end. And so the protection works out perfectly. Good communication pre-snap. Mauch is able to help Gedicke out on this inside swim. He doesn't come either, so White doesn't have to do anything. He is able to check and release because the linebacker doesn't come. Baker's got a nice clean pocket, but that just shows you the protection and them adjusting as the game went on. Mauch saying, hey, that's the creeper. We've got everybody else up here, but if he comes and if he keeps coming closer and he comes on the blitz, you've got to be able to pick him up and you've got to be able to throw hot off of him. So that's basically the process. The Raiders drop out, so they don't end up having to, and Marg doesn't even come, but it just shows you their improved process there. Now, watch some of the route combinations here because this is going to be man coverage, but from off alignment. You don't see a ton of this in the NFL. I mean, you will see it, but especially the way the Raiders were playing, they were sort of dropping, it looks a little bit, and then matching really hard as receivers went down the field. But you're going to see Sterling Shepard run his route at absolutely full speed, and it holds the safety. So the safety cannot drive on this. It's a good concept too, because the second, if you can get the protection to work, the second follow route is almost always going to be open in this situation because the first route will hold the safety and keep him from driving on the crosser. So the second crosser is often open in these situations. So you can see Shepard run his route full speed, just an unbelievable route. Look at the hip snap. This guy's not getting the ball probably in this situation. Look at the hip snap. And then Evans is wide open, able to make the catch, hurdles the safety, who I hate this, but what are you doing if you're this free safety? Where are you going? It's 3rd and 9. I just don't, what are you defending against? You are not helping it. I'm always DBs don't concede ground unless you have to, fellas. And he just does not need to be out here in this situation. But Evans on the in breaker, and Baker has to hold this ball and wait for him to clear the window because He's got to be able to check these zone droppers. So protection has to hold up. Shepard's got to run his route well. The safety's got to not trigger downhill on the second crosser. And everything works out. Baker has to hold it, and then throw. And watch where Evans is when Baker throws it. If you see Spillane here, middle dropper. He's taking these away. Good. And Baker has to wait until he clears. He'd love to be able to throw it. He has to wait till he clears in this window and gets out into this space. Till Evans does. So watch where he throws with anticipation. Look where Evans is. He's throwing to a spot right here on the field where Shepard is, basically. And that's where Evans is able to make the catch once he clears Spillane. So again, this is what playing at NFL speed looks like. And so when I rip on it in the other plays, and I wanted to show you the positives, because when he does it well, that's what it's supposed to look like. This is a high-level throw. A driven throw to the middle of the field between zone defenders with the game on the line, basically. That is big time. And he's capable of it. Some games he does it the whole game. But he just doesn't do it consistently enough. So those are some of the issues. Can't turn down throws, wide open throws in the NFL. Can't miss plays where there's open receivers. Can't turn bad plays into total disaster plays, especially with mismanagement of the pocket. But when he does it right and when he plays on time, and great job by the protection as well, have to give you time to make a throw like this. All holds up. Evans gets open. Wonderful route, by the way. One of the most underrated route runners of all time. Mike Evans, watch the hip snap. In breaker. Boom. Makes the catch. Hurdles a guy. This 10 yards after the catch is critical. 11 yards after the catch. Absolutely critical. And that was basically the play that won the game. And so huge kudos to Baker for having a terrible game, but being able to shake it off in the end. That's not an easy thing to do. He said after the game, I was probably the worst player on the entire offense. And yeah, he was right about that. But a lot of resiliency to be able to probably know that in the game and still be able to shake it off. And all of a sudden, play on time with 2 in breakers, throwing with anticipation to the middle of the field, reading out zone defenses. And yeah, the pockets are pretty good, but they were pretty good all game. And so, he has to, once in a while, you have to manage a little bit of muddiness, somebody losing slowly in a situation where they're still between you and the blocker. You've still got to be able to slide and make those sorts of throws. These aren't free runners. These aren't super fast wins where you have no time to throw or process. And you got to be able to be right in those situations and not turn those plays into disaster situations. So I don't know if at this point it's realistic to think that those things are going to change with Baker necessarily, but they have to improve for the Bucs team to try to get where they're going to go, because the defense has been better lately, but it's going to face more significant challenges for sure as the year goes on. And obviously if the Bucs get to the playoffs, that will be the case as well. But you just have to be able to not have the disaster moments. You can't take 4 bad sacks in a game. And I didn't even show you one of the sacks. I didn't even show you one of the plays, that the 4th down play where they were lucky to get the penalty. Thought there was a little OPI and DPI. I actually thought Baker's process on the play was probably good. It was not my favorite route concept in that situation. And the ball went through the defender's hands, obviously, and then they flagged him. So, but I mean, still a turnover worthy play, but on 4th down in that situation, I don't know how many other options he had. The route was just well covered, and it turns out interfered with. So, I think there were other plays that weren't positives in this game, but you can't have 3 turnover-worthy plays. You can't take 4 sacks that you really shouldn't have taken any of those sacks. At least 3 of them, I think, that you never should have happened. And you can't do those kinds of things. I mean, Baker's one of the best protected quarterbacks in the league, but the sack numbers for him are concerning at this point. I forgot to look where they are at. I think he's been sacked like 36 times, I want to say, this season. Maybe that's a little bit of a high. I'll check myself on that number, but it's just too much for as well protected as he is. You have to be able to avoid those disaster spots. That's what the best quarterbacks in the league do. Some people think it's boring, but Jared Goff, I mean, he is always in the same place in the pocket. He knows how to move and slide in the pocket. His offensive line is really good, but I think they're overrated in pass protection. He just knows how to move and how to, as he needs to buy half a second here or there and be able to get to a good spot to make a throw or get the ball out on time or always be in the same depth in the pocket. And those consistencies help the rest of the group around him. With Baker, that stuff is so erratic and his feet are so happy at times. He's bouncing around. He's moving through progressions too quickly. He's too sped up. He's panicking. He turns his back to the line of scrimmage. You have to be able to just negate all those big negatives so you can get to this composed 4th quarter Baker who makes these 2 big throws in the moment. And if he can do that, the Bucs offense is going to be arguably the best in the NFL. I honestly believe that. It's that well designed. But you have to have the quarterback avoid the negatives, the super negatives. And if he can do that, the sky really is the limit for this group. So as always, if you like this video, please check out my work at Audibles and Analytics. It's a Substack, and it is $5 a month or $50 for the entire year. That's $4.17 a month on average. $50 for the entire year. I do a Bucs podcast. I do Bucs written content. I do tons of draft content. Ollie Connolly and I, he is the smartest NFL analyst that I know. He and I do a podcast at least twice a week talking about all kinds of NFL stuff. There's like 4 hours of audio content, 3 to 4 hours of audio content a week. It is an absurd amount of content for the price that you have to pay for that. And so if you're thinking about doing it, do it now, lock in that price, because I don't know if I keep producing this much content, how much longer it'll be that cheap and that affordable. But for now, that's what it is. And so lock in that price, get in there. Audibles and Analytics is the name of the Substack. You can Google it and you can find it. Also, I'll put the link in the comments here so you can find it that way as well. Cool. Awesome. Appreciate y'all watching. Thanks so much for a video production, a rare video production. If you're interested in these and this gets good views and you share it a lot, I may do more of these as the year goes on.